here's things start getting a little bit jumbled up. I cannot remember exactly the perfect timing of events here, but we went on in skirmishes that day. They were not significant. We're chasing around the countryside, getting reports of enemy, but no enemy. Suddenly they've faded into the woodwork. So now we go back to the Lager in the rubber tree plantation. We get our superficial wounds dressed. In my case, they had to dig a little bit of metal out of a couple of them. I had this piece of metal in this arm pulled out and stitched up. And as we, the next day, we take off again. This time we get up on this ridge overlooking the Songbay River, because the town of Songbay itself is on the other side of the river, and the enemy has infiltrated into that town. And so there's a South Vietnamese Army unit and our Quad 50 supporting them. Our Quad 50 had been pulling perimeter duty in the rubber tree plantation and had been very effective. All I had to do is just shoot a few rounds off. The enemy knew, don't attack that side of the perimeter. But at any rate, I knew those guys fairly well, and they were now over across that river supporting that outfit. Well, Quad 50 is not an assault weapon. It's a defensive weapon. It's a perimeter weapon, but you cannot use a truck in that kind of combat. It just doesn't work. And we're watching this from our side of the river, and the Quad 50 is probably no further away than 900 to 1,000 meters. And up on the other ridge, in fact, they're just about parallel or on the same plane as we are, the same altitude, the river down below. And I'd like to also mention that the Songbay River is only about maybe 50 meters wide, not even that, maybe only 30. It's a very narrow little stream during dry season. And so here we are watching this combat go down, and also around us still is this chopped off bamboo. These little bamboo fields were everywhere up there. So as we're watching this, we realize that the Vietnamese are running. The Vietnamese Army guys are running away, and the enemy is advancing. And out of these, they look like banana trees to me, but some kind of long frond trees, this little plantation of vegetation or whatever, here comes the enemy. And the Quad 50 guys are left alone by these Vietnamese Army guys, and they are overwhelmed. The enemy runs up, shoots them, swarms the truck, throws their bodies off the truck, and they are mounting the truck and trying to figure out how to. They don't realize that this thing is operated electrically by foot pedals, and if the engine of the truck is turned off, the generator's not working, so it doesn't really work. I think I don't know exactly how it works, but anyway, you have to get in the turret and in the tub that's in the middle of that thing, and then you work your foot pedals and turn it right and left, and then up and down, however it works. And they're figuring this out pretty quick, and there's like 20 of them on that Quad 50. Well, we're not alone up there on that ridge. We're not just 7 armored personnel carriers. Along with us, there's gun jeeps and recoilless rifle mounted, 106 millimeter recoilless rifles mounted on jeeps. And they draw a bead on that truck with a recoilless rifle, and it's loaded with flechette rounds. Flechettes are little tiny nails, maybe like 4-penny nails with tail fins smashed into them. And they're fired, they're hardened steel nails, and they are fired. Across that valley they go, and they can adjust the fuse to burst the slug of the round at a certain distance from the target, and boom, it opens up, and it's like now a shotgun with 4,000 pellets. And all these little nails come out, and they hit that truck, and the tires go out from under it. You could just see this truck just kind of collapse, and dust flies off of it. And of course, these Vietnamese Army guys, they jumped off the truck and abandoned it. Well, they were, another of our platoons on Jeeps went over there and started rallying these Vietnamese guys, secured that area. And they said that the Vietnamese guys were just walking around all kind of in a stupor. Some were sitting down, some were walking around, but staggering. And what had happened, these flechettes had gone into them just all over. And they're little tiny nails, but it's like being stabbed with an ice pick. And these guys were all bleeding to death. And they all collapsed. No saving them. Some of the flechettes, at the velocity they were going, just went straight through them. The truck itself had flechettes stuck in it, in the tires and in the metal of the truck, and so forth. And so that is a devastating hit, devastating. And then, of course, we are being engaged. The enemy has at this point crossed the river, and I have to tell you about that in the next segment.